Next bill is House Bill 528, an act relating to joint custody. Representative Nemus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Jason Nemus. I have some guests. I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Matt Hale. I'm the Kentucky's chairman of the National Parents Organization.
I'm Ryan Schroeder. I'm the chair of the Department of Sociology at the University of Louisville.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am standing in for Representative Petrie, but I am a co-sponsor of this bill and believe very strongly in it. House Bill 528 is a joint custody bill. It extends changes that we made in 2017 in House Bill 392. Specifically, it creates a rebuttable presumption that joint custody and equally shared parenting time is in the best interest of the child in temporary custody orders, final custody orders, and modifications of custody orders. If the court decides to deviate from equally shared parenting time, the court must create a schedule that maximizes the parenting time of each parent or de facto custodian. When determining the best interest of the child, the court, in addition to the factors already within the statute, the court should or must consider the influence a parent has over the child's wishes when determining what the child's wishes are, the motivation of adults involved in the custody proceedings, the child's continuing proximity to his or her home, school, and community, and the likelihood a parent will allow the child to have frequent, meaningful, and continuing contact with the other parent or de facto custodian. It also allows a parent not granted shared parenting time under temporary final or modification of custody orders to petition for visitation rights. That, in a nutshell, is what this does. If I could allow these gentlemen to say a few words, and then
Please.
take any questions.
There's a motion second on the bill, but if you would like to add something.
Well, if we're already voting,
Okay.
Yep.
You would like, please.
Well, sure. Thank you. Well, it's a great day when we get together and talk about our greatest asset, and that's Kentucky's children. I think most of you know me. I'm Matt Hale. I volunteer as a chairman of Kentucky's chapter of the National Parents Organization, and I have the great joy of being a joint custody shared parent of 3 daughters and 2 stepsons. 1 daughter is adopted. The first thing I wanted to say to everyone is thank you for last year. It was a great time to be here and to see basically this a very similar bill to this pass for shared parenting and temporary orders. In fact, the first thing that you'll see on the first page, page 1, is that it's basically lifted from 403-280. That's the temporary order bill. And it's placed into 403-270, which is what we're talking about now, the permanent order bill. And we're creating a presumption that shared parenting is in the child's best interest unless there is a parent who is unfit. So we have that. We've also added a few other things. One is we've added 4 words. It says that one of the factors for a judge to consider is a child's adjustment to their school and the community. And we've added 4 words, and continuing proximity to. Because we've seen too many cases where people move away and the children are moved away from loving parents and family and community. So we're seeing nationwide, we're seeing a real flurry of shared parenting bills. In fact, Thursday, Friday, and Monday, Iowa, Alabama, and Virginia had different phases of shared parenting passed. 2 were Senate, the full Senate, and in Virginia, a committee bill passed unanimously in both houses. So shared parenting is gaining a lot of strength, and I think Dr. Schroeder has done quite a bit of research and is kind of an expert on the science behind the bill.
Sure. The research on shared parenting is remarkably clear that children who go through a divorce fare much better when they have equal or as close to equal as you can get parenting time. The one exception is in cases of where there's violence, and it's my understanding this bill would eliminate that presumption in the case of violence.
Yeah, all 7 references to domestic violence are completely unchanged. And in fact, the National Parents Organization one of the reasons why we push shared parenting bills is to reduce parental conflict. Because if you pit one parent against the other in a winner-take-all, loser-lose-all battle, you're creating conflict, and that's not good. We don't have to have one person win and one person lose, because in the end, it's the kids that lose. If you have two healthy parents, the children need to see both of those parents.
I wanted to note, as Mr. Hill noted, the proximity to the school and the additional factors, they're just that, they're factors. They're not requirements. It's required to look at them, but that's one of many considerations the court takes into account when the court makes its determination. So with that, Mr. Chairman, we answer any questions or move for passage.
Representative Hatton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I voted for last year's legislation. I've done family law for about 18 years. I'm wondering if we've had time to see the effects of what we voted on last year, and if making the temporary orders available was not enough, because I'm wondering if what we're seeing is that after the temporary order it doesn't work and the judge is changing it, or what is the need to come back so very soon? It's been in effect, I don't remember if it was an emergency or whether it took effect in July. I think July though, so it hasn't been very long, and I'm just wondering, there's been research done and stats kept and what we're seeing.
Well, it's Jason Petrie, if he were here, I'll have to try to speak slightly on some of the conversations I've had with him, but he said that it's been very well received in the legal community. We've also seen several positive reports in the media. I'm not sure if we have Will Chin here, but Cincinnati, a TV station there had picked up on it and reported on how popular and how well it was received there. I haven't heard of any unusual situations or circumstances. And beyond that, the other states that we're talking about, with the 3 states I mentioned, were not temporary orders. All of those were permanent orders. So we are looking at, in effect, kind of moving along in the pattern that other states are too.
Please. Representative Hatton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to follow up, is anyone monitoring what this is doing to child support? That was a concern that I had last year that I discussed with Representative Petrie. And while lots of things are often equal in two people and their ability to parent, there's very often not equal earning power of both couples. In my district, it's the men are laid off. They don't have their coal mining jobs, and women are able to find jobs a little easier, but they're lower paying. But a lot of times the woman is lower paying. So when we have shared custody like that, usually a judge will greatly reduce the child support, if any, that is being offered. And I'm wondering how that's affecting our kids. And if it's not been studied, I'd like to respectfully request that you do study that. Like I said, I voted for the bill last year. In theory, I like it. I just wonder if we're not running a little too soon into expanding it greatly when all the judges that I have like 5 counties I practice in, they're all still adjusting.
May I answer?
Certainly.
Or Jason?
I was going to say, I don't know how it has affected over the last year child support orders. I know that this is something that's not brand new. A lot of courts try to make this the presumption anyway, and they're supposed to. That's right, and that's in section, that's in right now today 403-270 subsection 5. So it's not something that's new, and so I don't think there will be a large confusion among the court across the Commonwealth on that. And I will note that those were temporary orders. These are more permanent orders. And so it's not a great expansion of the shared parenting.
And one great thing about shared parenting is that it inherently spreads the costs of taking care of children. Because if you both have the children half the time, you're covering the costs while you have them. I have seen, from talking to so many parents, many of whom are here, I've seen lots of cases where there's shared parenting, when it's implemented, that they do continue to have child support, although I have often seen it reduce some. And one more thought on the economics of shared parenting. When you have one parent who is a full-time caregiver day and night and hardly gets a break, it becomes very difficult for that person to go out and make their life better, to perhaps go and get more education, perhaps to work a little extra in the evenings. And this allows both parents to have a little time off where they can advance themselves, perhaps their education. And that's a real win for kids.
Representative McCoy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to pass along something for the committee's benefit. I was in contact with Representative Petrie earlier today, and he, this afternoon, was contacted by Mary Savage from the Kentucky Coalition Against Domestic Violence. He is working with them on some language that has to do with the presumptions when there's a domestic violence issue, and he hopes to have a friendly floor amendment for us on that issue. Just want to pass that along. Thank you.
And I would want to know, I think that's something I support. This is Representative Petrie's bill, obviously. But that would be a clarification, something that the court, without any amendment, could already do. But I think that's an important clarification.
All right, there's a motion second on the bill. Is there been? There is a motion and second on the bill. Madam Secretary, please call a roll.
Representative Benvenuti,
Yes.
Representative Blanton,
Yes.
Representative Brown,
Yes.
Representative Cantrell, Representative Donahue, Representative Elliott, Representative Hatton, Representative Hoover, Representative Jenkins,
Briefly explain my vote. I'm going to pass right now because I do want to see that amendment. So I'll pass.
Representative Lee, Representative McCoy,
Yes.
Representative Meeks, Representative Morgan,
Yes.
Representative Mosier,
Yes.
Representative Nemus,
Yes?
Representative Owens, Representative Reed,
Yes.
Representative Sinet, Representative St. Ange, Representative Watkins, Chairman Fisher,
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
13 and
Thank you very much.
House Bill 528 passes with favorable expression. Remind the members we do have a robust agenda tomorrow at noon. This would conclude tonight's meeting. I appreciate your attendance. This meeting is adjourned.